Hi, and welcome to our Target X training for Southern Crescent Technical College. We're going to walk through first the student experience and then the processor experience so that you can see both sides of what is going to happen when a student enrolls in our program through Target X. The first thing that they'll see once they get the link or they click on apply or anything like that is they will be directed to this web page that you see on the screen here, and they will be instructed to set up an account. They'll need an email address that they can access as well as a password that they're going to create. They'll be directed either to sign in or they can click on the click here to register button. They're going to need to register for the first time with an email address and a password as well as their first and last name. And when I hit submit, that will create a contact for us. It will not be in Galus, but it will be in the Target X system as soon as the student hits submit. But this is all the information it will have, is the name of the student and an email address. So once you click submit, you'll see this message that says you've been sent an email with a link. You'll have to go to that email and actually click the link to be able to go through the system. But make sure your student uses an email that they can access when they create one of these accounts. So if your student does not see their email in their inbox, they may need to check their junk email like I'm checking right now. And here it is from the Georgia Office of Adult Education. And it says, "Hi, not a real," and gives me my username, which is my email address that I use to sign up. And now I have a big box there that says set password. I'm going to click that box and it will take me over to the website to reset my password, not to set up a password, but to reset it. When I click that, it allows me to put in my new password. Once they put in that new password, just make sure it is at least 8 characters long and includes letters and numbers. That way it will be a valid password. Then they hit save password. And rather than be redirected back to the login page, they will actually be taken directly into the portal. This is the Adult Education portal for Southern Crescent. They'll be able to start a new application from this point. When they're starting a new application, there are a few questions at the beginning that they need to answer. Once the student hits start application, they'll be redirected to a page where they fill out all of their demographic and other information. The first thing they'll see is a place for their name, and it does say legal first name and legal last name. So just make sure that that information matches any ID or passport they may be carrying, just to be sure we have their legal first name and legal last name in Galus. That'll prevent issues later on in the process. There is a space for preferred name as well as a middle name or initial and a suffix as well if that's necessary. Date of birth, they need to pick a month and a year and a day. If they do pick a day that is lower than age 16, which we would not be allowed to serve, they do have those options available, and the application will not stop them from completing the application if they pick something that is lower than 16. But you might want to make them aware. That date can be changed later on in the process by the processor, but the student themselves would not be able to change this once they've submitted the application. By hitting continue, they move on to the next section of the application, and that first section is saved. So it just continues the process and saves their progress along the way. They do have to select a country, and it does say that you must live in the United States of America to apply for adult ed services. So hopefully that very first choice, United States of America, US, will be the one that everyone picks, but there are options for other countries. So just be aware of that. If they do select another country, they technically wouldn't be eligible for our services, but then again, they probably wouldn't be applying for our services either. So we just need to make sure we watch for that. They do have to enter a street address as well as a city, a state, and a zip code. And then they do need a phone number. Cell phone is what's listed there, but of course it could be a home phone. There just needs to be no dashes when they list it. That's my office phone number if anyone's wondering. And then hit continue. They do have legal sex, so again it should match their identification. They also have a section for pronouns that is not required. They also have a place for your social security number that is also not required, although we do encourage our students to provide it if possible. Then we have our racial and ethnic categories. We also have a place for the highest school grade completed, highest educational certificate, degree, or diploma completed. This is exactly the same as the intake form that we use, as well as the online registration form that we're now phasing out, so just be aware of that. It also asks if your highest education level was completed in the United States, and so they can select that option as well. Your work status, if you select working, we'll provide you some drop-down menus as well as a few of the others. So I'm going to pick working, and when you do, you'll see it says if you're working, are you working full-time or part-time? If you select something else like working but my job is ending, it doesn't provide that. And then not working but looking for work will ask you, have you been looking for 6 months or longer? And not working and not looking for work also doesn't provide you any others. Of course, there's the question about assistance, and this question, as well as another that includes checkboxes we've noticed, actually allows you to select options and select none of these at the same time, and it does allow you to submit the application with all of those boxes checked. So just be sure as you're reviewing those things in GALIS and talking with the student that you watch for none of these to be attached to that, just in case they selected that option as well. You do have to check yes or no on whether you've received TANF for more than 2 years in total. And again, here is another option where you have lots of checkboxes as well as a none of these apply, and you could select more boxes and none of these. So just watch for those if a student does cross your path who's checked off all those boxes. Language spoken at home, it actually gives you a list of all the spoken languages, including other as an option. But most of the languages are listed on here. They are listed with their English spellings. So for example, you do not see Espanol here, but you do see Spanish in the S section. So just be aware that even though they say their language name one way, this is going to be the English spelling of it. So there may be something there too. Country of birth, same thing. You're going to see lots of countries listed here, and they do have the English spellings. So for instance, if I go to Turkey, Turkey has an English spelling like Turkey, but if you actually looked on a map of Turkey, it would not be spelled that way. So just be aware that that's one of those countries where it does that. Or for instance, Germany. Germany is spelled Germany, not Deutschland, which is what Germans actually call Germany. So just be aware of that, that you may have different country names. Have you enrolled in adult education before? If you select no to this, that is the only question that is asked. If you select yes to that, they will ask you which program you were enrolled in previously, and it gives you a list of options that are all here in Georgia, and they go back a few years, so you may see some that don't exist anymore, like for instance Bainbridge College, which is no longer there. You may also actually see some that are no longer there that we used to be. So for example, if you go down to F, you'll see Flint River Technical College, and in G, you'll see Griffin Technical College. Those colleges are now Southern Crescent, but they're still there. So if a student was enrolled in the program quite a few years ago, they may actually select one of those instead of the current one that we have. And do you want to provide emergency contact information? They actually have the option not to do that. If they choose yes, they will be asked to provide that on the next screen. If they choose no, then that will not be an option for them to fill out. On this screen, the student can review their application. They're able to scroll down and see all the answers that they just submitted, as well as click any of the edit buttons and go back and re-input the data or the answers that they selected. So if they see anything that's missing, this is where they can correct that. Once they've gone through and looked over their application and made sure there's nothing missing, made sure there's no error messages, made sure it says exactly what they needed to, they click on Submit Your Application right over here. And they are directed to what is known as Verify and Submit. This is a list of legal statements allowing them to submit their application and providing us all of the legal things that we need to make sure that we are definitely doing everything correctly. Down at the bottom, they have to select that they verify that all is true and correct. Then they click here to electronically sign the document. This electronic signature has to match their first and last names in order for it to actually be valid. Then they click on Verify and Submit. And they see a screen that says thank you for submitting your application, and also says to click on the Return Home button that will allow them to upload any documents that they need to upload as part of their application. Now this is what's referred to as the checklist, and you can see over on the side there are 4 checklist documents that I need to upload. The first is Student Goals' signature page. The second is Underage Youth Application. That is because I entered a birthday that was underage. The next is Documentation and Withdrawal from K-12 Education, again because I entered an underage birthday, and proof of age identification also that needs to be received. So all 4 of these things, the last 3 are based on birthday. The first is for every student that we have. That's the goals page. That's what we often call the 3rd page of the intake form as well. If I scroll down just slightly, down here I have 4 options. Complete the checklist, which is where I would actually go and upload those documents. Review application just allows me to look at all the answers that I've already submitted. However, I can't actually edit them. They're already in the system. I can withdraw my application, which would be a rare thing. Most students would never push that button. And start a new application. I could do that, but I probably wouldn't do that unless already this date, Sunday, June 25th, had expired for me. So I wouldn't do that in this case either. So I would go to complete checklist. And that would take me to this screen that says thank you for submitting your application. I'm going to hit continue, and when I hit continue, it's going to take me down to the first document I need to upload, which is my underage youth application form. That's actually available for download right here. So if I click it, it will open. I'll need to download that form, fill it out, save it, and submit it as one of these file types: PDF, doc, PNG, JPEG, or JPG. All of those are basic file types. Most of our students will know what those are, and they upload it just by clicking here and selecting the file that they want to upload. They also have an option down here to say that they are not ready to submit that document, or that they have submitted it. If they click that they have submitted it, that actually goes away and becomes a single box. If they say that they have not submitted it yet, they do still have that option to submit it. So that's there as well. That's true if I scroll down here for the underage enrollment affidavit. That's true as well for the document proving my age, which there are several different documents that you can use for that. And then it's also true for the goals page as well. And here is a copy of that goals page that is fillable, so they can use that as well. Now I've hit review on this one. It still says I'm at 40%. That's because I'm missing several things. I haven't actually submitted any documents whatsoever. If we have a student who is having trouble uploading those documents, there are ways that we can assist with that, and we'll talk more about that on the processor side of things. But as far as the student goes, this is what they're going to see most of the time. They don't have the ability to submit at 40%, but those documents have been uploaded, and you could actually see them in TargetX. Once you've clicked review, you'll see that they get to a page where, very similar to reviewing the application, they can scroll down and see what choices they made for each of the documents. If they haven't submitted all the documents, their completion percentage will not be 100%. We can do some things on the back end if we need to assist someone to upload documents for them if necessary, or we can help them sort of follow the process a little bit better and walk them through it. But either way, they won't be able to actually click submit right here unless they complete and upload all of the documents. If they do upload any documents, they will show up in TargetX for us to see. They just won't be able to submit officially on this page. So if this is all the student can do for the day, they can sign out, they can sign back into this at any time, or they could give us a call or send us an email and let us know that they need some assistance, and we could provide that to them. If they go back to this screen and actually see the checklist, even though I have uploaded a underage youth application, it's still showing an X right here because we on our side have not actually reviewed that document and said, yes, that document is okay, yes, that document has been approved. So they'll still show that X even if they have uploaded a document until we on our side have actually reviewed it and checked it out for accuracy. So now I've gone through on the processor side, I've actually approved the underage youth application, and you can see on this screen that the student is going to see, they now see the underage youth application was received. So once we approve it on our side, they'll see it on their side as a green check mark. However, if they upload something, it does not automatically turn into a green check mark. And there's probably going to be some questions about that from students saying, how come you didn't receive it? Well, we did, we just haven't reviewed it yet. Once we do, that green check mark will appear. As far as the student goes, this is pretty much as they're going to see on their application side of things. Then once this is all completed, we'll schedule them for an orientation, just like we always do. They'll come in and get tested and begin their classes. So this is the application side for the student, and now we're going to walk through the processor side for those of us working behind the scenes.
All right, so now we're going to go through the processor side. So once the student has submitted the application, it's our turn to go in and process their application. So on your Okta screen, which is called My Apps Dashboard, you are going to click on Target X to process the application. First thing you need to do is make sure your screen is on the Recruitment Manager page. If you don't see Recruitment Manager in the upper left-hand corner, simply click the 9 dots and there will be a list of other choices, and make sure to choose Recruitment Manager. For contacts, you're going to see a list of all of the submitted applications, but they're not really applications, they're contacts. So you'll see to the left, recently viewed. If you click on the down arrow, you'll get another list. So you want to choose all contacts, and you'll see all of the applications that are in the system. You can default to this view by pinning if that's the view you want to see. To actually see the application, you will need to click on Applications, and you will also have the opportunity to choose the list view for applications. So you want to make sure your adult education applications, and you can pin that as well so that whenever you log in, that'll be what you see and you won't need to continue to change it. The application numbers are listed in the first column, and the student names are to the right. It is important to remember that if you click on the student's name, you are only opening a contact record. In order to see the actual application, you will need to click on the application number. You can also tell what section you're in by looking at the tabs across the top of the screen. Alright, so our student that we're looking for is not a real student, and you'll see the student's name here and the application number. So we're going to click on the application number here, which will open this up, and you'll see some little bit of contact details at the top, and then you're going to start to see more information as you scroll down. The contact details includes the information that was put in when the student requested to create a record, and the information below is the actual application information. There are additional fields to view. You do have to click additional fields to see the rest of the information, and you will start to see things that look familiar to you, things that are on the intake form, student registration form, and then down at the bottom you will see when the student created their account. You can also see when the last person who modified the record. If we want to see the documents, we've got to click on Essays. So this will show us the list of documents that are required for that student to upload. Because this is an underage student, you're going to see the underage youth application, withdrawal, proof of age, and for everybody you'll see the goals page. If we're looking here, you see the document name, type, applies to requirement, and completes requirement. When students initially upload their documents, the complete requirement section will be blank. As you review the documents and choose them as complete, these will turn into check marks, and you'll be able to make sure that all of the documents are uploaded. To view the document, click on the document name, and then you'll scroll to the bottom where it says Notes and Attachments. So this will be the document that the student uploaded or that we uploaded on behalf of the student. If you click the name, the document will open and you will be able to review to see if the document is complete. I have already reviewed this one and marked it as complete, so you'll see to the top it'll say Document Accepted. So then you will go back, click the next document, and you see at the top the document is still needed. And at the bottom you'll see that it's empty. So if this is something we want to upload on behalf of the student, we will click Upload Files, choose our document, click Open. That's going to upload the file to TargetX. Now you'll see the document here. The document's correct. We uploaded it, so it should be correct. We want to mark the document status as complete. When you click it once, it will say Ready to Review, and you'll need to click it one more time in order for the document to be fully accepted. You'll also see a green bar that says the changes were successful. We know we have two more documents, proof of age, and you will repeat the process. So they did not upload the document, we're going to upload it for them. Upload file, choose your document. Alright, it says one file was added. You'll see the file name here. Go back to the top to mark it as complete. We're going to do that twice so that it's accepted, and we'll go back to the last document. We're going to mark this last document as accepted. And now when you click back, you will see to the right here that we have reviewed and all of the documents are complete as required. You want to go back to the student's application. After you have completely reviewed all of the information and are satisfied that this student is ready to attend an orientation session, you can go over to the right at the top. It says mark application status as complete. So you click once and it's going to go pending review. What you will do at this point is go into the online registration into GALIS and look for the student, reach out to them, and make their orientation appointment. Alright, so I want to take this opportunity to go over some of the categories on the applications tab. So obviously application number is the application number created after the applicant entered their intake information. Student name, student type, this is what the applicant chose during their application process, where they wanted to be hybrid, in person, or virtual. Campus is also what the applicant chose. The start term and year is also based on applicant's choice. For application stage, there are two statuses that you will see. You'll see submitted and in progress. In progress means that the student has started an application. That is simply all they've done. Submitted means that the student has answered all of the intake questions and they've also verified and submitted. So that's the page where they have to type their name in as if it was on their application. So that's a verify and submit. The next column is application status, and there are quite a few statuses. Number one is incomplete, and this stays incomplete until we process all required uploads. And then it can change to complete pending review, which we would do when we have verified all of the uploaded documents and they're ready for an orientation appointment. The next status is complete decision made, which that is we have scheduled a student for orientation. And there is another category that you'll see, withdrawn. We hopefully won't use this often. Sometimes students will create multiple applications, and just for internal purposes, we want to contact that student and try to verify which of the applications they want to use, and the one that they don't want to use we will mark as withdrawn, so that when we are going into the system to find out who we need to contact, if we see withdrawn, we know that we don't need to do anything with that particular student's application. I did want to go back and mention, for complete decision made, once again, that's currently registered for orientation. If the student then no-shows, we will need to go into applications and change that status back to pending review until they reschedule an orientation. Once the student has attended orientation, we will go into Target X, go to the student application and click edit, and we can do that right here. You see a little pencil, so you could just click the pencil and click the calendar, and then you can choose the date that the student attended orientation. You click outside of it, it'll stay yellow until you click save. You must click save in order to save the record. And now you'll see that your changes are saved, indicated by the green bar at the top. We will continue to utilize the orientation appointment calendar, and we're going to use that as a tool for updating Target X after orientation.